The Office of Government Ethics surveys executive branch agencies every year to track common ethics concerns. IntelliWorks analyzed the latest results and found that questions about gifts, financial conflicts, and outside work topped the list. John Martin is a business analyst with IntelliWorks. He discussed the findings with Terry Gerton.
Well, the Office of Government Ethics, its mission is to ensure, ethics across the federal government, the federal employee workforce, and they do that through the ethics offices at the various agencies. And so the purpose of this questionnaire is on an annual basis for OGE to reach out to those organizations and essentially take the pulse of what's going on across government. What are the hot topics? What are people dealing with? And then in follow-up to that, how can they be of assistance to these organizations to, again, advance their mission of ensuring ethics across the government?
Is it a statutory requirement?
The Ethics in Government Act is what established OGE, and it is not specifically called out in the statute, I do not believe, but it has been part of their practice for many years. It is certainly a best practice to keep in touch with the community.
No, it makes perfect sense. I just wasn't sure if without statute it might persist.
Without statute, it might persist. Well, certainly what we are dealing with is an age-old problem, of course. It predates our republic. It's been an issue throughout government. You're dealing with other people's money. You have a lot of influence. You're in a position where people want to influence you. And so the problem does persist, and the need for this, the mission of OGE and the questionnaire.
You've done a lot of analysis of the data from the responses to this survey. Tell us what you find.
Not surprisingly, the primary point of need here is the conflict potentially with the employee's personal financial interests. These individuals are in positions where they can influence large amounts of money. And so people from the outside want to get to know them, quote unquote, and ultimately to influence their decisions. And so there's just a lot of temptation along those lines. And at the same time, these individuals, though, have an obligation. The employees in the government need to stay in touch with the very folks that may be desiring to influence them. So it's a little bit of a dance, a balancing act that they have to walk through. It is the financial interest and potential conflict that seems to be most prevalent in the results.
Do you think that's an indication maybe that the guidance isn't as clear as it could be around gift acceptance and personal financial conflicts of interest?
I think the guidance is pretty clear, but it's easy on a day-to-day basis to lose sight of those things, I think, for federal employees. I think that by and large, my observation is they're well-meaning, but it's easy to run afoul of rules and not realize it at the time. But on the other hand, there certainly are people who are not that well-intentioned and kind of do get pulled into situations they shouldn't be in. But the guidance itself, it seems to be pretty clear. It's a matter of these ethics offices staying on top of things, staying ahead of it, helping the employees see the potential conflicts as they're emerging potentially, hopefully ahead of time, and then help them to walk through the situation and avoid the conflict.
Your company actually supports financial disclosure automation for dozens of federal agencies. What do you see in terms of accuracy of reporting here in agencies that have digitized this process?
Certainly the accuracy goes up. There's a lot we can do with the technology, and we try to do with the technology to ensure accurate and complete reports as they are filed by the employees. Our mission is to relieve the ethics organizations of the day-to-day repetitive work. We want them to be not chasing paper, but to be examining potential conflicts, giving good advice, protecting the agency and the employees from those conflicts.
I'm speaking with John Martin. He's a business analyst with IntelliWorks. I've filled out those ethics forms many times, and I know how complicated they are. Does the digitization process help assess the financial disclosure forms and figure out where there might be violations or variations?
I also was a filer at one point, and that's how I kind of got into this when I found this application and found that you could fill it out online, and most importantly, from year to year, it pre-fills what you filled in the prior year, so you're not filling out the same information over and over again. And in terms of helping with the advice, we provide many tools to the reviewers to help them compare from year to year, to document advice year to year, and then to send out guidance on an automated basis depending on what is disclosed in the form and those sorts of things. But ultimately, there's no substitute for the expertise and the judgment of the ethics officials, the ethics community, to be able to review the form and related matters like outside positions they may have, widely attended gatherings they may be going to, and similar things. They kind of form this overall picture of these employees compared to their job duties and develop a sensitivity for what might be a potential conflict and then intervene where appropriate.
I love that description of building some familiarity with their filers, because over time, if people are in the same positions, they're going to have the same sorts of interactions and begin to build a habit about both what they need to report and how they need to behave. And that gets me to my next question. You've suggested that ethics violations often stem from distraction and manual overload. So we don't want people to file incorrectly. We want them to file accurate reports. Should agencies be thinking about digitizing ethics as part of their core digital transformation?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think we try to use the technology not just to digitize and automate what exists, but to improve the process overall. At the end of the day, this is not about collecting data. It's about avoiding conflicts. And so we try to build into the application wherever possible prompts to help with that. For example, the forms are filed in arrears. If you kind of think about it, the way that this works is you are reporting what you did, and it may be that there's already a conflict that's developed. Now that we have that information in a database, that it's digitized, we can provide to supervisors and others who are assigning work the ability to search and avoid conflicts as they're assigning work based on holdings. And so we're proactive and prospective about avoiding these conflicts as opposed to catching them after it may be too late.
With the new leadership at the White House Office of Government Ethics and changes in several agencies' IG offices, where should federal employees turn for reliable, up-to-date guidance on ethics and these sorts of forms and filings?
Well, I think that the Office of Government Ethics in particular has a large set of resources available on their website. But within the agencies, the leadership may change, but I think the core expertise remains there. There is, these ethics offices are serious, deliberate, and committed to the mission of protecting the federal government primarily, the work that's being done with taxpayer dollars, but also the employees within their agencies. So certainly turn to your agency ethics office, their website, et cetera.
As you look ahead with the evolution of AI and automation and outside employment trends changing, what role would you want ethics offices and officials to play in shaping agency culture and pre-training for these sorts of things? How do you think their role will evolve?
The ethics offices using technology, I guess the advice I would have is to get better at understanding the technology. AI is a great thing in terms of saving time and automating work, but it misses that human element. So exploit it wherever possible to cut down on the repetitive and day-to-day and sort of things, and to give you, I guess, more proactive interaction with the employees and the industries they're in and the potential conflicts that may be there. Help them analyze the situations and use it to think creatively, to make suggestions that you may have missed. But at the end of the day, you've got to make those decisions. So you've got to be on top of the technology and how it's going to be used in your day-to-day work.